Welcome to Hardin Life Live. We are the Hardins. We are a family of coaches and counselors, and we love just being with y'all for 10 minutes a week to give you some tips to live your best life from both a therapeutic and a biblical perspective. And y'all may be aware that February is our focus on relationships. And we took a big topic last week, Audrey, with toxic relationships. That word flies around. And I loved how we ended just focusing on identifying if you might be in one. But here's the scary thing. What if you are in one? Is there any hope for this?
Mm-hmm.
You have to cut bait and bail or what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, again, I think that we can all attest to experiencing a toxic relationship at some point in our life, because there are people that have a tendency towards unhealthy behaviors. And if we agree to be in relationship with that person without any boundaries, it can easily become toxic. So last week, like you said, we talked about what that looks like. I think one of the key points was you don't feel the freedom to be fully yourself. You don't feel the freedom to say no and know that it's going to be respected and not turned against you. And that you're not walking on eggshells.
Amen.
Yeah, there's one of the primary pieces of intimacy that we don't realize is being able to set boundaries. I mean, basically, intimacy is compiled of four components. That there's a spiritual piece, there's a spirituality, a God piece to intimacy. There's self-awareness, there's empathy, but that boundary piece, the ability to say no to bad behavior, is critical.
Mm-hmm. Well, in order for you to have safety spiritually, to experience empathy, and you've got to have that boundary around it so that you know that will be respected and you will be respected, and it again won't be dismissed, which would be really hurtful or even turned against you. So
well, it's so sad when you're in a relationship and there's no empathy. You're not seen, you're not understood. That's a toxic relationship.
Well, I loved, Audrey, I think one of your first points in this blog was that the only way you can begin to decide where to go with a toxic relationship if both people come together and acknowledge and take responsibility for their part and indicate they are in it to change it. The sad thing is a toxic relationship cannot be changed by one person. It's not, you say, it's not a onesie, it's a twosie.
Right.
But, Dad, for you, I with your point, I think it is important to first be self-aware and know what you need before you begin addressing the toxic relationship. But Mom, I totally hear you. You've got to have both parties involved, both parties agreeing that they want to work on this. And I would just give a quick tip on how to do that. After you've kind of done some soul searching, you've clearly seen multiple examples of toxic dynamics in your relationship, then it would be a conversation, and you take them to coffee, you have them sit down, and you just simply say, hey, I've been noticing some dynamics in our relationship that are not helpful to the growth of our relationship. And I'm wondering if you'd be open to me sharing some of those things. And if they say yes, you say, okay, well, these are some things I've noticed, this. And I'm wondering if you can help me understand where this is coming from.
That's excellent.
So well stated. And most of us have no idea how to have just a little kind of intro conversation. Sadly, we start out with the word you. You've been doing this, you've that, and then we wonder why we invited a fight to join the room.
Yeah.
The word you immediately indicates you need to be on the defensive. I'm coming after you. But the way you just verbalized that, it was an invitation to that self-awareness. And it communicates, I'm with you, I just want to understand, which is sort of leading to
Well,
that
and
empathy.
again, I mean, like what you were illustrating, sweetheart, is this idea of confronting, and the idea of confront is not being confrontational. Everybody hates confrontation, but to confront, what that literally means is to sit face to face and make lots of eye contact. And what you say with your eyes is just as important and sometimes more important than what you say with your mouth. And the opposite of confronting is blame and criticism. And that's where that second person pronoun comes in. All blame and criticism must stop.
Well, and that's the powerful thing. So you're not going to know if your toxic relationship can get out of that toxic dynamic and change and grow unless you confront, unless you go direct. And we always, especially as Christians, want to give the other an opportunity to grow. If we never speak into unhealthy dynamics in relationship, then again, we're not giving people the opportunity to be sharpened as Christ has modeled for us.
Well, I love that, because you're just backing up Ephesians 4, which is all about how we grow as an individual and corporately. And it just emphasizes you must speak the truth in love. Thinking the truth, knowing the truth doesn't help. Even trying to live the truth, you got to speak it. And that's what I think, what I'm hearing you say, a toxic relationship has no hope if you're not speaking it out loud, coming to the person and saying, there's a problem here. Let's see how we can solve it.
Yeah. And from that point, you're going to have more information that you need to make the decision. Do I leave the toxic relationship? Do I set stronger boundaries in the toxic relationship? Or do I stay in it? And we really work on this.
Well, part of the challenge always when you're in a toxic relationship is knowing how to take responsibility for your own life. Because the dynamic of toxic relationships so often is that I have given my power to someone that I thought I could trust. And if that person is a toxic person, they actually take advantage of your lack of power and they claim all the power. And then this is often the crazy maker, is that a toxic person, when confronted, they'll actually accuse you of having all the power. In their head, they don't have any power because they can't control you fully. And then they'll claim they don't have the power. And so part of getting out of a toxic relationship or being in one in a healthy way is taking responsibility for your own life and saying no to unsafe behavior.
Well, what you really just described there is gaslighting. And we've all heard that term, and that may need to be a blog at some point. But that is the crazy maker, as Dad says, of toxic relationships. The person who tends to give away their power is actually believing the message. Oh, well, I didn't do that. I guess he's right. I guess she's right. And we take in the message. And I think we said it last week and this week, but having a healthy me, an individual sense of I am me, you are you. If I don't have that healthy boundary, I will believe lies about myself, and I will not be able to tell you the truth about you in a loving way. So how to get healthy as an individual is really the cornerstone of moving out of a toxic relationship.
Well, I hope that y'all will take the time to check out our blog, hardinlife.com, and discover really practical tips of how to get out of those toxic dynamics and set you free so that you can continue to live your best life. So thanks for sitting with us, and we hope you have a great week.
Have a great week.